Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to beautiful Shoeline Studios in Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm your host, Cain Stevens, and you're on the most paranormal super show of the land, the Cain Stevens Paranormal Super Show. Teddy the Cockapoo agrees from upstairs, and I think I alerted him, so hopefully he'll calm down. All right, so welcome to the show. A lot of exciting things happening. I hope everybody enjoyed their Halloween out there, had a good time. I know I did. Me and the family, we camped out front with the fire in front of our house and gave out full-size candy bars to the few that braved the journey to our house, I guess. We watched Arachnophobia and ate popcorn and had a good time, so it was awesome. Another amazing Halloween in the books. I'm just sad to see it go. Unfortunately, I tore down Halloween immediately after the next day because I just couldn't stand it anymore. I just wanted it to be on forever, but I got to get myself ready for the old Christmas display. So there we go. Another crazy thing that happened to me was I actually got asked to sit in and talk at the Arnold Heights Neighborhood Association meeting, and that was really cool. I got to talk to some people about hauntings, and thank God I wasn't in trouble for anything I was afraid that I'd get some questions from people or, they'd laugh me out of the room, but everybody's really cool, and it sounds good. Yeah, there was even talk of possibly me leading a club at the new high school in Northwest Lincoln, and maybe teaching people how to do podcasts themselves or talk about the paranormal or whatever. So if you're interested in that, just get a hold of me on Facebook under Cain Stevens. I'll accept your friend request, and we'll just go from there. You could also message me at cainstevenspodcast@gmail.com, and just get a hold of me if you want. You can get me on the gram too. Just find me. I'm all over the place out there. So, this week I think we are going to do a little para news for you. So I know you're gripping and sitting at the edge of your seats, and you can barely contain yourselves. So with that being said, let's do a little para news. Para news. All right, this one's actually on an NBC station, I believe in Nashville, Tennessee, WSMV4, and apparently a guy did a ghost hunt, so to speak, a paranormal investigation in the first recorded NFL stadium to have a ghost hunt that we know of anyway, or that they know of. I'm sure has been others, but he did that at the Titans stadium. So let's check out what the news had to say here. We'll play a little clip.
Rich history led to a ghost hunt in Nissan Stadium. The Mount Juliet ghost hunter says this was the first recorded investigation to be done in an NFL stadium. WSMB's Joy Limbukovac talked to him about his findings.
Ghost hunter Kalani Smith says he was shocked by the paranormal activity he experienced in Nissan Stadium. He spent 2 hours in the stadium, and his devices picked up paranormal activity in the locker room. One chilling occurrence caught on camera was when the Titans player Tier Tart asked if the spirit was experiencing any discomfort. The communication device then detected the message, "Sore knees."
Sore knees? I've never had anything like that come through, but granted, I've never been in an NFL locker room asking if they're experiencing any discomfort. So that was probably the coolest thing. And in the bathroom, we had 2 or 3 different devices going off as well.
Smith said he felt at peace when all this activity was going on. So if there really is a spirit here in Nissan Stadium, it seems to be a friendly one. In Nashville, I'm Joy Limbukovac, WSMV4.
All right, so there you go. That was pretty exciting. It looks like the only thing it isn't the only thing paranormal around there anymore. And here we thought that the only thing going on at the Titan Stadium was paranormal anyways, was their lack of winning. So, hey, all right. But anyways, I don't even know. I don't follow their team, so I'm a 49ers fan, so who cares about them? So, but that's awesome. I guess the first recorded investigation in an NFL stadium, so that's pretty sweet. So there you go. There's a little pair of news for you. Now let's get into the meat and bones and everything else of what we're going to do on this episode. This episode, I decided to get away from the Ghosts of Arnold Heights, Curse of Arnold Heights series. It's not all we're going to do. I am going to stay here in Lincoln because that's where I reside currently. And, when I'm not taking in paradise views and ocean fronts and drinking Mai Tais and everything else, I'm looking out at reality and looking at Lincoln. So, there's a lot of there's a lot of haunts that people have talked about over the years. I personally went to this place. So there was a book when I was growing up called A Guide to the Ghosts of Lincoln by Alan Boye. And I hope I'm saying that correctly, Boye. Anyways, it was a famous book here in this area because it, to me, it changed the game because it highlighted hauntings in our city where we could go. So once I got into high school and I could drive, of course I would go to all these places. And one of the places that I found to be very interesting was the Lake Street Lake haunting. And, on page 59 of said book, it's entitled Shapes in the Fog Around Lake Street Lake. And so, just a little synopsis of what Lake Street Lake is. So there's a street, Lake Street here in Lincoln, and it's over by the hospital, formerly Lincoln General, I believe. And over there's an old. It's now no longer a lake. It's just dried up. But there was a small lake there years ago where they would let people ice skate and play hockey and everything else, but I don't believe they've done that for years. So now you can just go down into it and it's a really cool place. And then in the middle, there's like a little, island area where there's like, some big spooky trees and stuff. And you can sit around that, the rocks around it and just kind of ghost hunt, just go through it. So, but in the early days of Lincoln, there'd been a farm there. And they had mainly raised dairy cattle and sold milk and cream to the then growing town. No one's really sure what happened to the farm, according to this book. Although it is left today, and there's a certain feeling when you go there. Really all that's left there is just that lake. Obviously, there's a city around it. So the spirit that they're mentioning here supposedly lingers. And so this is what we've been chasing all this time is there have been different accounts of like a fog, like a full apparition figure roaming the area and, showing up and then vanishing. I can recall different stories, reading them on different websites where they had, where they had referred to that very thing. And, I would ask myself like, well, what time of year is it? I've always been pretty inquisitive on, being trying to be what word am I looking for here? Trying to be more inquisitive about it and not just accept it for what people are saying. So let's see, of the many stories there on 15th and Lake Street here in Lincoln, nearly everyone who's passed by the lake in the dark will comment on a particular feeling. Sometimes that feeling's a positive one, but then other times it takes on the form of chill in the air or one that has worked its way down the observer's spine. I get that feeling too. It does have kind of an odd feeling to it. I would invite you to go check it out yourself and just go, late at night, be respectful of the people who live there and just go and park and just sit there. I mean, It's an amazing place. There's a lot of super cool stuff. I personally have never witnessed anything there, but I've always loved it. You get a weird feeling when you're in there, but it could just be kind of like so to speak, the haunted house effect, where you've heard there's a haunting, so you just feel it, that there's something going on. According to the book, one of the earliest events happened to a young person named Lauren Isley. Isley would grow up to gain fame and world recognition as an anthropologist and a gifted writer. Isley spent his first 7 or 8 years in a house near 18th and South Streets. At that time, South Street marked the southern edge of the city. So shortly after his family moved to the location, Isley made friends with the neighborhood bully, named appropriately the Rat. Man, what a name to have, right? Who doesn't want to be named the Rat? Get you shanked in prison, you know what I'm saying? Isley was pressured into entering the dark and fearful sewage tunnels at the edge of Lake Street Lake. Yeah, there's like little tunnels kind of, or I don't think you can do anything with them now. And then I guess as they were in there, there was a dark kind of foreboding atmosphere of the spot, and it led him to confront the first true fear in his young life. So I believe what they're saying is that, that was like, it wasn't necessarily what they saw, but more like a feeling of just, which that can happen a lot in hauntings. You use the feel test when you go to investigate something. Don't just take a bunch of devices and expect something, but also just have that natural human experience and just feel around for it. Listen, look, close your eyes and just kind of take it all in, then open them and really look around, get a feel for the place. A lot of people, so that was supposedly the first encounter. Let's see here. In 1977, Dick Dutton was on a walk in the evening. It was a cool night and the streets were nearly deserted. Most people were at home near a raging fire. Dick was restless and liked to walk about to wear off the restlessness, no matter what the weather. So he's walking around. He usually didn't venture past 17th Street in his evening walks, staying ahead closely to the park and the streets to the east. But this particular evening, he chose to walk west on Lake Street and past the lake. He first noticed the foggy air as he approached the small park. This struck him as a bit odd, for the air seemed much too cold for fog. I don't get that. Well, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, why would there be fog if it was super cold? I mean, when you think about what fog is, and low moisture and all that. So he decided to take a leisurely walk around the lake, and then he returned home. As he was about a quarter of the distance around, he heard a distinct sound of rushing water. He paused and tried to locate the sound. It was not right that the water should be rushing on at night, as cold as it was. He peered through the darkness and the fog and noticed an older man staring back at him from across the lake. The apparition struck him as so unusual that for a long moment he didn't speak. So, Dick was speechless. He kind of left him not knowing what was going on. He slowly became aware that the man was not looking at him, but rather beyond and through him to something else in the misty night. So, Dick said, "Pretty cold night, isn't it?" He called out to the figure on the other bank. The sound of his own voice cutting through the chilled air startled him. The old man did not change expressions, but slowly and quite distinctly faded. The figure did not turn, nor did he walk away, but according to Dick Dutton, he actually blended into the mist. So there's a pretty cool account from the book. Once again, all credit due to the book. I'm just I'm trying to paraphrase and read some of it without getting in trouble. And then, but this could be a good tool for you if you haven't picked up this book to go rush to your local bookstore and get it, because it's an awesome read. I'll also mention before the end of this episode, another local author who actually doesn't live too far from me, who wrote a book about hauntings in Lincoln and in Nebraska as well. So that was pretty chilling. That was pretty strange. There was a similar event that happened on March 21st of 1981. Let's see, Albert Holbert and his wife Jean, they'd been out along the lake walking their dog, Snoopy, of course. They often walked past the lake. The Holberts first noticed the sound of running water on an otherwise very cold evening. The sky had been clear and there was no mist over the lake. Both of them noticed an elderly gentleman on the southern bank of the lake, but had not commented on him at all. Jean was to recall later that the man had just kind of disappeared, although they'd not watched him vanish. He just, they looked, he was there, looked again, he was gone. When they rounded the lake, they both noticed that the man no longer stood on the shore. At that point, they had mentioned something about the man who had been there. As they approached the spot where the man had been, Snoopy began to tug at her leash and try to pull them away from the area. So Snoopy, the dog, was showing some unusual behavior, freaking out, wanting to get him out of there. And that is fairly common. I mean, it seems like animals sense more of the paranormal. I mean, I've certainly seen it with certainly seen it with our dogs. And so yeah, those are some pretty cool stories. This says, and this book has been out for quite some time. I mean, I forget when it came out. This says, in the last few years, several incidents have been reported of blue, shimmering shape running along the creek that feeds Lake Street Lake. The most common place this figure has been seen is at the tail end of Irvingdale Park, just off of 17th Street and Harrison Avenue. This says, during the summer of 1987, 3 individual cases were reported of this wispy figure moving along the creek bed during the dark, moonless hours past sunset on hot summer evenings. So there you go. I mean, those are some old accounts. I know that I have personally read a couple of newer accounts, like maybe in the 90s, early 2000s. But, if you're in the Lincoln area and you have a story of Lake Street Lake, I would love to hear it. Like I said, I have been there many times, and I have never experienced anything paranormal at all, except for maybe a creepy feeling. Look at maybe it's best to go when it's cold in the winter. I don't know, but I don't like the cold, so that might rule me out altogether. But it's still very cool local haunt. There's many more to come. I'd love to get Alan on the show. I know he's hard to get a hold of. He's been on a couple other local podcasts. One in particular in Omaha that I won't mention. And when I talked to them, they were very the podcast. They were very apprehensive about talking to me at all because they know I'm a local podcaster as well, doing paranormal. But they just kind of gave me a short, ridiculous answer, like, "Oh, just keep trying, you'll get a hold of him." So I'll have to do that on my own. So for now, that's what I got. But so the Lake Street Lake, to me though, is one of those places that anyone right now you could get up and go leave and go walk around the lake, a former lake, and we walk inside it, and it's just be careful walking down, but it's very cool. And just be your own, take equipment, do whatever you want, just be respectful of the houses that live there, and you'll be all right. The most paranormal thing that I saw was a guy that I thought appeared to be pretty wasted, and he was kind of hobbling and gobbling around. But that was about it. So give it a shot. There's plenty of haunted places here in Lincoln. I still want your ghost stories. I don't want to just do Arnold Heights. I want to do this area, Nebraska, and all over. It's not just that, but I want to hear all ghost stories. So, I hope that you kind of liked a little bit of that. I really think that it's one of the more fun places to go. There's some other, the Capitol's fun to go to. The Capitol's very haunted. We've done an episode on that, but I'd like to dig into that some more. Maybe interview some people who said that they've physically witnessed a haunting. But we're getting there. You know what? We're doing what I love to do, which is telling ghost stories and just kind of talking about haunted places. So there's that. We are going to do a dream segment today. In closing, something cool did happen to me. With an unfortunate event, we went to Western Nebraska with my wife's grandma passing away, and wouldn't you know, we're sitting in the hotel one of the first nights, and my father-in-law and my mother-in-law come in, and I've learned. So here's a little. So the Villisca Axe Murder house, which I've always kind of been obsessed with, been there a couple times, done a show about it. I'll probably do some more on that. Crazy stuff, in Villisca, Iowa. Famous haunt. Well, apparently my wife's family, the Bentley family, is tied to Villisca in some ways. So apparently they're an aunt or a family member, Donna Bentley, was supposedly, okay, I don't know for sure, was supposedly having an affair with the dad who got murdered at the Villisca Axe Murder house. And one of the suspects was, well, I mean, they were all looked at in a way. But one of the suspects was, I believe, her husband at that time that she was having the affair, allegedly. I think it was their dad, her father-in-law. And I think he was like was he like a state senator or something, or lawyer? He was somebody important, but he was a suspect for killing. So, I mean, we have this forever link and tie to the Villisca Axe Murder house. So getting on with the story, my father-in-law presents me with, as they're going through some of Grandma's things, some letters from Donna herself. And man, when they were handing them to me and giving them to me, I was like, at first I didn't know what it was because the handwriting was old school cursive and hard to read, but once they started telling me, I was like beside myself, like I couldn't believe here I have, and they're giving me something of Donna Bentley's to read through. So they're like Christmas cards, and they're perfectly kept. But man, they're so cool. And so what I want to do is I want to take these letters with me when I go to Villisca, and I want to see if it's see if it triggers anything, I'm not looking for trouble. I'm not looking for bad. I just want to see if it triggers anything at all, or a response of any kind. So, that was pretty exciting for me. So, that's just, I really do have amazing in-laws, and I lucked out on that account. So they're awesome. But let me ease on over here to the, there we go. I have Fred the Skeleton over here sitting on the piano behind me, and I bumped him. So I like an idiot. I said, "Excuse me, sorry." So we're gonna lastly here we're gonna grab the old dream book. In your dreams, your horoscopes and your dreams. We're gonna hold it above our head. La 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 la. Flip it a couple times. Just say to the book, "Hey, be good to us," and show us something good today. So let's see what this means if you dream about it. All right, we're flipping through. You can hear the pages even. page, all right. Oh man. All right. So on page 644, so this is if you have dreamt of this, this is what it means. So if you're playing an oboe, and who doesn't, right? So I was playing the oboe the other day. That's how most stories start. If you play an oboe in your dream or hear one played, it's a definite warning to be cautious of your eyes and ears. So, there's a little bit of a warning to you. So, if you've ever dreamt, I mean, if you're an oboe player, you probably have. But if you're not, why the heck would you be dreaming of the oboe, or do you even know what an oboe is? So, that's really interesting. Since this is we're just going to go down. Yeah, we're just going to go down here. Here's one, the occult. Since this is a paranormal show, if you dream of attending a spiritualist meeting of any or other gathering of investigators of the occult, you will find that your friends will likely criticize you for being oversensitive. Ooh, so so if you dream of attending, say a seance or something like that, or gathering of investigators, you may find that your friends are going to eventually criticize you for being oversensitive. So that is another nutty thing from this book where I don't know how they could possibly come up with this other than put a bunch of stuff in a hat and hope for the best. So let's do one more in this on the subject of. So let's do officer. So if you're scolded by a policeman for a driving violation, like if you get a ticket while you're driving in your sleep, what does it mean? It means you're going to receive a bad check. Well, there you have it. I mean, that explains it all, right? It was the thing that you're gripping on the most and wondering why you were being scolded by a policeman in your dream for driving terribly. So there you go, all you bad drivers. There's you've got a bad check coming to you from somebody. Someone's gonna continue the trend of getting policemen around and write bad checks, I guess, to you. So there you have it. There's the dream segment in your dreams. And I hope you guys enjoyed this show. Well, we're wrapping it up here. Wrap. We're getting closer to the holiday. We're in the holiday season now. We're getting ready for Thanksgiving. Get ready to stuff ourselves with some turkey and stuffing. I know I can't wait. Got Christmas just around the corner too. So, exciting times. Hopefully we'll have some cool shows. Maybe we'll even, who knows? The sky's the limit on what we're going to do around here. So thank you guys once again for tuning in. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I just hope you tell your friends, tell your mom about me. It was a good time. We're just going to keep doing this thing. So I will talk to you guys again. Hopefully you guys enjoyed what I did. If you didn't, you'll always be sad. So thank you guys. We'll see you on the other side. Good night.